Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I am still a little bit sick. I think it's a nasal infection or um, bronchitis. I've had both. They're the same. I just a little bit here. I kind of hack, and you can blow your nose all day. So I think I'll go to the doctor and just get not an anti, get a what do you call it? The thing you shouldn't have. Um, yeah, whatever it is, it's something with an A, and just get one or two of those, and it'll go away. Otherwise, I'm going to maybe try to fast today. Tea is legal, so I have a green tea with honey and lemon to get rid of it also. So I'll try that, and we'll see. It seems to be getting better, but I know how long these take. It's like my gout; it'll hit my foot, and it'll. I had steak 2 weeks ago on I think it was Saturday night, and it bothered me for a week. I mean, it won't go away, and you can't understand it. So this is the same thing. You catch it. I don't know how I caught it at some restaurant, I guess, and you just let it go. But that's what happens. So we will see. Fit for my girls. All right, gold 38.66. Why is it going down? Absolutely no reason. This is not the real price of gold. This is the paper price of gold done for derivative and options, and they make money when it drops and when it goes up, but it's not real, and you don't want to be in it because it's paper. It's not worth anything. Silver was 47.60, 47.29. It keeps getting into the 46s and the 47s and then popping back to, why is that going down? Absolutely no reason. This is not physical. Nobody's selling an ounce of gold or silver. This is just paper options to get you into thinking, oh, okay, it's hot. You better sell it because they want you in stocks, bonds, real estate trusts. That's how they make money, Wall Street. So Wall Street's the one controlling this. It's all bullshit. In the long run, you see gold 38.64. So if you would have listened to them, you would have got out at 2000 and you wouldn't have come back. You listen to me, you're at 4,000. You can't lose in gold and physical because it can't go down the physical price. And as we get the competition from BRICS, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Russia, China, Hong Kong, Singapore with their physical markets, it'll blow away this paper bullshit. It's far cheaper than the physical. So just remember that. Don't get panicky. Oh my God, it's 38.63. Just give it an hour. 10 o'clock always goes down a little, and you'll see it jump back up. Luke, how are you? Gold shooting higher. There you go. Here that it's breaking in futures. Silver looking good. Silver about to break 50. Then the derivative market begins to collapse. So I think the derivative market is already collapsed. Look, I mean, as you can see, what is it? Citi and some of these banks are already hoping for 25 in silver and 2,500 in gold. So it's already broke. Again, when it drops, who's stupid enough to short at 38.65? Who's stupid enough to short gold? Right? Nobody's can be this stupid working at a bank. They've got to be out of their minds. I don't know why. This is the whole problem with the system. You've got morons running it. Why would you do this? It's going up. It'll be 4,000. And how are you going to pay the options on this 38.64? So we had Cadillac come on, and he used to be a broker, and he's telling me how gold is at its real price. And I kind of, when I got done laughing, said, no, it's not. It's the paper price. Now, this is a guy who was a broker who doesn't understand paper and physical. It just, you just shake your head. This is the problem. You've got people in it who are just, they're not economists. I don't know what they are, if they're analysts or salesmen, but you've got to be kidding me that you don't know paper price is not close to physical price. Anyway, no offense, Cadillac, but you're missing something. You're missing that we're looking at physical, not paper, and the physical price is 10 times more than the paper price. So are we meeting it when gold hits 4,000, Luke? I guess we can meet any time, but it's about to get there, 38.64. What's today, Wednesday? So probably by Friday, it'll be 39. Should be 39 today. I don't really like it went from 38.80 to 38.64. Again, it got up to 38.95 at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Again, why? Who's sitting there going, "Well, you got to short it before it hits 3,900"? Who's the idiot doing that? Antibiotics. That was the word I was thinking of. It's funny when I don't think of the word, it comes to me. When I think of the word, I can't find it. So I need to go to the doctor to get antibiotics for my little cough because I don't know if it'll go away. I can try fasting today. It's already 11:30. Just one day, a 24-hour fast until dinner time. So maybe I'll try that and see if I can get. I feel a little bit better, but I'm still hacking. But I hack less. I just took my walk, and I'm probably going to go to the pool again and lay in the hot tub and do a little bit of swimming. It's amazing when you're in the pool and you're doing a little running, not anything terrible, and not really just swimming, just kind of in the pool, walking around and doing some exercises. How it makes you feel so much better. The water and it gets the blood flowing in your body from all the movements. So no matter how I'm feeling, I'm fine in the water. All right. Now, when I talk about Vegas going broke because their price is over market, the market price to go to Vegas is here, and they're selling everything here, and there's no buyers, and they're going broke. This applies to everything. Anything that is overpriced, it's the same thing. Disney, even Coca-Cola 2 liter at $3.50 is overpriced. The only thing that isn't, which is weird, is gold and silver. They are not overpriced because they've been suppressed. So when we look at this 38.62 gold price, it's not overpriced because it's been suppressed so long and the demand comes in. So the key is if you have demand and very low supply, you're going to have then it's not overpriced. But Vegas is overpriced because there's no demand and nobody wants to pay for these ridiculous charges. I think the whole thing, I don't think I'd pay for it. If I'm at the hotel, if I'm at Caesars and I go, it's $100 a night, and then you charge me $180 because of resort fees, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. I didn't agree to that. I agreed to $100. You can charge all you want. I'm not agreeing to that. I didn't agree. In my contract, it says $100 a night. I don't know if anybody's challenged it or they try to challenge it and then they just say, well, these are the charges, and not letting you kind of challenge it. But I'd have a hard time paying the extra bullshit because I'm agreeing to what booking said at $100 a night. Everybody says, oh, it's the Chinese in Macau that is making MGM very profitable. What a bunch of horseshit. The Chinese are more pissed than we are. When they see these extra fees, they're all over the internet, TikTok and YouTube and everything, saying how pissed they are, that they don't agree with them. They don't like them. They won't come back to Vegas. Again, why it's empty. Oh, but they're whales. Yeah, well, they tell you to fuck off too. Nobody wants these surprise fees. It doesn't matter how rich you are, right? It could be the guy from Saudi Arabia, the king. He's still going to be pissed saying, I don't agree to these. I agreed to $79 a night at Caesars. That's how I'm paying. So I don't know what fantasy this guy, there was something with the what is it, the president of MGM, and he's, oh, we're making so much money, and then he almost said we're greedy. Well, you're not greedy, you're stupid. And I don't know where they're getting record earnings if nobody's showing up. And oh well, it's China. Well, it isn't China. China's not now Macau. They don't charge these. There's no extra fees in China, or they wouldn't have any customers. China hates this shit. They hate the customer, the surcharges and everything else as much as we do, if not more. They're very honest. We've agreed to $50. That's what I'm paying you. Well, no, there's these charges, so it's really 100. No. I agreed to 50. That's what I'm going to pay you, not these fake charges. So China gets pissed about it too. So I don't buy that they're having record earnings. How can they have record earnings when nobody's there? Vegas, well, I mean, a couple of guys went to the Oakland game, Luke and or not Luke, but Nick. There was nobody there. They were very expensive. You know, you're not going back. You'll go see one Raider game, and I guarantee you're probably going to get there Saturday night, and you got to stay at a room. And then Sunday you watch the game and you go home. You're not, before it used to be, you get there Thursday and you leave Sunday night. But that's not what's happening. They're probably getting there Saturday afternoon and leaving Sunday after the game, going home. One day in the room, not four. And again, that's something that they miss. And I don't get this record earnings. That I don't believe. As a financial guy, you can't have less people and record earnings. I don't care how much you charge. Are you charging thousands of dollars over? I still don't buy that. Well, average guests per room, who gives a fuck? How much is he gambling? Nothing. And is he paying for food? No, he's going to CVS. And parking? No, he's just there for the night. He's not paying for parking. So you're not even getting parking. You're getting this bullshit resort fee, which pisses him off. I think I agree with you, Luke. I'd stay downtown where there's no resort fees. And just there's a bus that you can take to the strip. And so you pay $2 for the bus, not $40 for parking, and you bus up to Caesars and go, I don't even know why you go in, because you're not going to eat there. You're not going to shop there. The foreign shops must be getting killed. And I'm sure they raised rent on them. I used to go to a sports memorabilia store in the forum shops. And I talked to a guy, and we'd talk about all the sports, and he'd have some good cards and helmets and pictures and stuff. So it was an interesting. It was an interesting chat with him. But most of the stuff was real high end shops there. So I don't know. I think I have pictures of it. Let's see. I always have pictures. I always take kind of neat pictures on my vacations. So let's see. Vegas. Where's the rest of my pictures? I must have missed them. Oh, here it is. See, like here, they got Cartier and Versace, right? And I love the statues in the ceiling. Well, who's shopping there? Cartier and Versace's. I mean, this is the problem with the place. Oh, this, by the way, was a $35 million artist thing at the Wynn. These were tulips, but it was $35 million. It was pretty. And then there's a Victoria's Secret. But you got to love the way the sky is. That was the thing. They stole that from California Mall and all that. So you got really high end stores. But I always liked it because of the ceiling. Always thought it was cool. All right. 38, 62, 47, 33. All right. So why is gold the only thing that is not overvalued right now? And I'm going to say because it's been suppressed and nothing else has been suppressed. The housing market certainly isn't. The car market certainly isn't. Uh, it's ridiculous. So when they're in a bubble, the stock market is in a huge bubble. It keeps going up and up and up. But gold keeps being suppressed. That's why gold is the only thing not in a bubble. And you shouldn't sell it thinking it's gone up a lot. It's not going to go up anymore. It's going to keep going because it's the only lifeboat out there. So when you need to get out of the dollars because they're printing them to death, the only thing you can get into is gold and silver, and they are not in a bubble. They are not overpriced because they've been suppressed. That is the key. Why we think gold will just keep going up and up and up because it's been suppressed. We're willing to pay this, and COMEX has it here. Where we reverse it in the housing market, here's the demand, here's the value of the house, here's the value of the stocks, here's the value of the cars. All these bullshit stocks, NVIDIA and everything, they're all way up here, but they're real only worth this. So why stocks and bonds and real estate trust are overvalued, but gold not, is because of that. Gold gets suppressed. So the real price of gold's down here, but yet we're willing to pay this much for it. That's the secret. Right. So don't let anybody. I had one guy tell me gold's in a bubble, and when I stopped laughing, I just walked away. It was like, you're really too stupid to have a conversation with, which he is. He's too stupid to have a conversation with. If you think that, well, everything's in a bubble, not gold and silver, because it hasn't gone up for no reason, and it's still highly demanded. So when you see Disney going out and McDonald's value menu coming down, and Caesar and Vegas going out, they're overpriced. Excuse me. So again, it comes back to market. This is what the market will pay. And don't kid yourself. We control the market. We control the prices. So if you want to go to Disney, I'm going to pay you $75. Well, we're $175. Well, go fuck off. I'm not going to pay. Oh, I'll go to Vegas. I'll pay $100 for Caesars on a Tuesday. Well, that's $200. No, fuck off. We're not going to pay. We'll go to the lake. We'll go somewhere else where there is no resort fees, and the actual price is what it says. Oh, McDonald's. Well, we'll charge you $15 for a Happy Meal. Fuck off. I can go to a Coney Island and get it for $7. I can go to the grocery store and get 3 pounds of hamburger for $6 a pound and make 12 hamburgers for not even close to what you're charging. So that's the key. We set the market. The market doesn't set us. And I think what's happening in Disney and what's happening in Caesars is clearly run by liberal Keynesians who think we can set the price and they'll follow. Or Tesla will come out with an electric car, set a real high price, and they'll buy it. It doesn't work that way. We set the price, we set the demand if we want it or not, and then you come out with a price that meets us. You can't do it. You're doing it backwards. This is why these idiots are going bankrupt. You cannot do it backwards. Hey, Titus. Good morning, Titus. I had a good study. I studied the pros yesterday and most of the college. I think I just got to do the Big 12. I came up. So we'll have some good picks. I was out walking and I'm getting back. Pros I'm not worried about. I did really good in pros last week. It's college that's fooling me, right? Why did I play Kansas over Cincinnati? Because I only had one game on Cincinnati, the Nebraska game. What are you doing? Locking it. Or Houston, they're not an explosive team. Baylor was the lock as they are explosive. And so I'm not following my own rules, which is pissing me off. And my rules are basically, you got to know your quarterback, you got to know your coach, you got to know your defense, and you got to know the other team. I didn't know Cincinnati. I thought I did. I didn't think they were that good. Now, I don't know Kansas. Is Kansas defense falling apart? They had 3 defensive linemen out, which I didn't know about till like just before game time. They looked good against Fresno State. They couldn't move the ball on them. What happened to that defense that I saw in week 1? So it's a lot of the keeping track of the injuries, which is getting harder and harder on covers. It's easier in the pros because you can go into the news on Yahoo and they'll say these guys are out. Okay, like half the Baltimore Ravens are out. Lamar, 4 or 5 defensive all pros, they're out, right? So you got Cooper Rush. And with that, I read Baltimore playing Houston as an under game because Cooper Rush isn't going to light it up. The defense is banged up, but Houston doesn't really have an offense. Houston's defense will shut down Baltimore, and that's how you have to analyze it. So we know in the pros, it's easier. They're not playing Division II teams, high school teams. Even though they might play Carolina and Miami, they still are playing professional teams, even though half their players aren't really professional. So we understand that. And that's what we need to get more in college, but it's frustrating is you're week 4 and they played one team. Since they played Nebraska, then it was Southfield Lathrop High School and then maybe Akron. And how the hell am I supposed to know Cincinnati after that crap? Shut up, I'm working. How am I supposed to know them at that? So now they go to Kansas. Oh, well, Kansas is good. I've seen them. You know, they blew out West Virginia and they played Missouri good. And then that's it. So it's back to basics. Make sure I got my quarterback down. Make sure I got my defense down. Make sure I understand the other team. If they played one team and they played a high school and a nobody, because in the nobody game, they don't play their guys. They play them a half or 3 quarters. So understanding that, then it leads you to going, well, I don't know Cincinnati well enough. I shouldn't play them, even though I think I know Kansas well enough. I got Kansas the same thing. They're laying 4.5 at UCF. Do I know UCF? I don't know. So it's the same bet. I can't play Kansas because I don't know UCF. And I know Kansas. Now I think I know Kansas is an over team, but I still has them as a B team. So what is Kansas? Now I see the quarterback threw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns last week, Jalen Daniels II. So I see that. So then it becomes, well, what do I do with it? And you try to not, like Texas Tech plays Houston. Now we locked Houston against fucking Oregon State, who's a Z team, and the guy throws an interception, which clearly lets me believe it was fixed. And then in the 4th quarter, he throws 2 touchdown passes. Where was that in the 1st quarter? So all of a sudden he knew how to throw, and they tie the game, and they win it, kick a field goal, not a touchdown, which would have won it. But I can't get mad at Houston. Now I have them as a home dog to Texas Tech, who crushed Utah. So now I'm like, okay, what do I got? I know Texas Tech's good. I know Houston is pretty good. They got a pretty good defense, and the quarterback's not all that, but Texas Tech is. But they're on the road to Houston. So I can't get personal with Houston and get mad going, oh, fuck, they lost to me last week. I'm not going to bet them. You got to play the game separately and look at it. That's the biggest problem. You look at a game last week and you get all emotional with it and you use it. You expect the same outcome this week. And maybe they're on the road this week. They were at home last week. You don't know what happened, maybe turnovers, like Ohio State, Washington. Ohio State beats them. So do we get mad at Washington for only getting 6 points on Ohio State? But now Washington goes to Maryland, and they're 5.5-point favorites. So if we ignore the Ohio State game and say, what do you think? I would definitely play Washington. However, you've got the time change and the jet lag, and that has to enter into these games, unfortunately. So it's really difficult. The Big Ten and a couple of the games in the ACC where Cal and Stanford fly coast to coast. My solution is they should be in the middle. They should all meet at Arrowhead and play the games where each team goes 2 hours, and then it's a fair thing. It's not this 4-hour flight for Washington or a 4-hour flight Penn State going to UCLA. How do I bet that game? They're off a loss. Penn State should kill them, but they got to fly 4 hours to California, even though UCLA sucks. So there's extra dimensions that we have to factor in somehow, which we never had to factor in before. We'd keep an eye if the Rams played the Giants or the Rams. That was my big game in the 80s that led me to this was the Rams went to New England on a 1:00 game, and I bet the Rams, and New England won. And I said, how the fuck did I miss that one? Was it the time change? I don't know. And they had Eric Dickerson at the time, and you just scratched your head going, how did the Rams not beat New England? And that's what you gotta think really fifth dimensional and think about all the variables. And now we have travel and time. San Diego played a big game with Denver, was flat against the Giants. They should never have lost the game. They do have defense, so it was just really okay. So maybe we avoid that west to east. East to west a little different because it doesn't start till 4:00, so you're not as tired as when you go and start the game at 1, which is 10 a.m. Titus, Professor, you are the best in this business. Thank you, Titus. I appreciate that. Well, I think I'm good because I look at the important variables and I ask why I lost. Why did we lose with Kansas? Why did we lose with San Diego? I'm strong enough to admit I lost. It happens. That's why some people come on here and I'm going, well, I tried a week with you and I lost. It says, you got to play me the whole year. I mean, I can't win every week, but I'm going to hit a lot of weeks with a lot of winners that'll make up for the losers because I adjust as we get going. I'm adjusting for Jacksonville and Indy, which suck, but now this year they're a little bit better. I can't explain it. Jacksonville's not better because of the Colorado receiver. Lawrence still sucks. They're running Etienne a little bit more. He seems to be getting 150 yards a game. Maybe that's why. But basically, I learned from my mistakes. We can't be perfect. I can't go 100%. Well, once for you, Titus, I did go 100%. But it's I do it 3 or 4 times a year. It's just the right matchup. If I get the right matchup, like almost Houston, Baltimore here, it's the right matchup. Houston, great defense, no offense. Baltimore, no Lamar. The defense is all hurt, but Houston can't take advantage. It should be an underplay. We'll make that our free underplay. What's the total? It's a 40. So we'll go under 46. That'll be your free play, which makes perfect sense. Logically, great defense. Houston's defense is at 13. Baltimore's is at 33, but they can't really take advantage because CJ Stroud sucks. And the quicker you understand he sucks, the better you are. So I'm very quick at seeing these quarterbacks who suck. Daniel Jones, he still sucks. Darnold, I don't know. I'm beginning to think he's a little bit better than we think. Carson Wentz at Minnesota. You saw me bet Pittsburgh last week with Aaron Rodgers over Carson Wentz. That was a joke. I was getting points. They win the game straight out. Carson Wentz, I know, is not a good quarterback. Stafford, yes. Burrow, of course. So you see some that are good. Lamar, we still say he's not a good quarterback. He got buried by Detroit, and he was getting buried by Kansas City. All he did was go and run around. He didn't, throw. Kansas City wasn't worried about the pass. He would go back and try to run, and it was like a joke. You're a quarterback. Throw the fucking ball, and he can, and that's why we don't bet on him. Very simple. Josh Allen at least can throw the ball. So in college, let's go through the bigger games. I'm going to use last night's spread as I just looked at it last night. So we start off Sam Houston, New Mexico State. We got a Z team favorite on the road. Sam Houston, a -3, 43 defense, and New Mexico State, a W team, a 26 defense. Now, unless there's injuries that I have to look at, this is where you would bet New Mexico State because Sam Houston is terrible. And they're favored for some reason. Why are they favored? So this is where you come up with the grading system helps you because Z teams should not be favored unless they're playing another Z team and they happen to be at home. Western Kentucky and Delaware, 2 over teams, total of 61. Delaware -3. Western Kentucky is a live dog. The overs of a very live play here. Do you want to play it, though? Do we know Western Kentucky and Delaware enough to go and play the game over or take Western Kentucky as a dog? I don't know. That's where it leads me. And then I'm trying to not get in trouble by play Western Kentucky and then they lose. Why the hell did you play Western Kentucky? So I'm trying to be very careful after last week. South Florida, Charlotte, South Florida 27-54. They're a B team with 21 defense. Charlotte a W with the 29. South Florida played Boise. They killed. They beat Florida, who now we see is not very good. And then they got handed by Miami. So I don't know if South Florida can cover 27, but Charlotte's pretty bad. Let's go West Virginia, BYU. West Virginia is an E team, but I think it's worse. 27 defense. BYU's an 18.5, 48 is the total. BYU with a really strong defense, a 9. They held Colorado. They played them to a 24-21, which is a 45. West Virginia's been getting slaughtered by Utah, and they got slaughtered by Kansas. BYU doesn't really slaughter. They have a freshman quarterback. They're going to run it down their throat and play defense. Again, you probably want to keep betting BYU as an under. You want to bet Texas Tech as an over. So you find your bitches and where they sit. Give me the under teams. Give me the over teams. And don't complicate it. They're an under team. Go under. They're an over team. Stop fucking around. Go over. That's why I played Alabama, Georgia over. That's why I'm so upset that Kirby Stupid didn't kick the field goal because then I would have won my over at 24-24 is 48. I'm 47. And then he loses the game, and I'm happy he lost the game then. What a fucking idiot. How do you not kick the field goal to tie the game? And at least, okay, it's 24-all. It's a whole new game. No, let's go for it. And the play he ran was so stupid, it had no chance. And now what have you done? You've taken time off the clock, gotten nothing. You're still down 3, and now you got to hope you get the ball back. Bad coach. These coaches do not understand what happens if I miss. So if I go for 4th down and I miss, it's going to cost me the game. You sure you want to do that? Oh, we'll get it. The stats say we'll get it. Well, fuck the stats. The stats are bullshit. This whole analytics is bullshit. It's not real. Especially in the NFL, it's mostly Philadelphia doing the push tush. So if you're not doing that, your odds on getting a 4th down are 0 because that takes most of it. Titus, you got this, Professor. I will play it for you. Okay, thanks, Titus. Let me respond to your email and add the BYU under, I think. Let's make that the free play, although I'm scared to because it's Friday night. I don't know what it is on Friday night. If this is a Saturday, it's a play. But on Friday night, whatever you think is going to happen doesn't happen because it's a short week and a travel. So we won't play. We'll play it, but we won't. It won't be the free pick. We'll have a better free pick. So that's what we're looking for is the personality of the team. That's why they're A's and Z's and E's and overs and unders. And that's what we want to do is find the overs and go over, find the unders and go under, find the A against the Z and pound it like we did Baylor last week. All right, let's go. Air Force, Navy. Air Force is really bad. They got beat by Hawaii last week. What the fuck was that? They're an over team with a terrible defense, 38. Navy's a really good team with a 16 defense. I just like the Navy laying the 5. Navy's going to smoke them. They're good. They're playing well in Air Force. Lost to Hawaii. Wow. Okay. Iowa State, Cincinnati. Here we go again with Cincinnati, who we don't know. We do know they beat Kansas on a last-second touchdown. Daniels lit them up for 5 touchdowns and 450 yards. Rocco Brack will light them up. So here the difference is Cincinnati's favored. So let's make this the free pick. Let's take Iowa State. That'll be our free play. They're a very live dog. They're a very good team. Cincinnati, all right, they won, but they gave up 40 points to Kansas also. And Iowa State will score on them, but they got a 14 defense. You're not lighting up Iowa State, and you're not going to beat them by 7.5. So we got a very live dog with Iowa State. So mark that down as your free play. Kansas State, Baylor. Kansas State's been struggling. They're an E team, 25 defense. Not now, Scott. He always calls in the middle like I'm eating or I'm pulling up to the gym or whatever. Kansas State, even with the 25. Baylor, an over team with the 29 with the best quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, in the country. They're only laying 6. Baylor should handle this game, but their defense is a little weak. So the question is Kansas State going to score a lot like Cincinnati did? So we got to think fifth dimensionally. Are they going to score also, or does Baylor going to win the game? Now, Baylor doesn't show me a lot of defense, but I don't know how much offense Kansas State has. Baylor should win the game, and it should go, well, we'll see if it goes over. K-State is an even. They got a 25 defense, which means Baylor's going to light them up with the 25 defense. Kansas State will also light them up with the 29. So this could be an over, or it could be Baylor. Now, if you notice, I'm sticking with the cream. I'm sticking with the Baylors, the Iowa States, the BYUs. I'm not, oh, yeah, we can get away with an Air Force here and there or New Mexico every once in a while. But if I'm going to lose, I'm losing with the bread. I'm losing with the cream. Georgia, 20-48. Kentucky, an E team with a 26 defense. Georgia, a B team with a 19 defense. Off of a loss. But Georgia's laying 20 off of the loss. Can they score enough on Kentucky? Kentucky has a pretty good defense. They don't have much of an offense. I'm leaning towards the under actually in this game because I don't know if Georgia can cover 20 or in our world 14. But you want to take advantage of Georgia off of a loss. I mean, that's really the key to it. So I'm not really sure what to do with this one. So I'm still hacking a little bit. So I don't know that I can lay 14. Kentucky with a pretty good defense. They're still an SEC team. I think it's too much. I think 48. I think you could maybe go under, but we don't really know Georgia except for their coach is an idiot. That's about as far as I know. Ohio, Ball State. I'm bringing this up because Ball State's a Z team and Ohio's a B team. 27 defense, Ball State with the 33. The spread's Ohio 14-51. I don't know if you'll get enough points from Ball State to go over with the 33 defense. Ohio should cover going against a weak Ball State. So the Z tells you no offense and weak defense, and that's what you want to bet. So we'll see. But Ohio's a pretty good team here. And again, I'm only saying it because it's a Z team. And then do I want to go with an Ohio, who's not a bad team? Illinois, 9-56 to Purdue, both over teams. Illinois with the 23 defense, Purdue with the 27. But when Illinois played USC, they played to a 64. When they played to Indiana, they played a 70, even though it was all Indiana scoring. Purdue played Notre Dame and USC over. Not much defense, and they were able to score on Notre Dame and USC a little bit. Purdue with the 27 defense. Illinois should score here, and after losing to Indiana, they're not going to lose this one. Purdue should play good. They have a good quarterback. Total of 56. Yeah, it's probably an over because Purdue's turning into the quarterback's good. The coach from Vegas is pretty good. They haven't figured out a defense yet. Illinois should light them up. Purdue will get enough to score. So Purdue gets maybe 20. Illinois in the 30s is a 50. We need 56. So it's very doable. BC and Pitt. Pitt's an A team with the 23, although they lost to West Virginia, which you just shake your head. BC an over team with the 28. Pitt 6.5, 58. I don't think I would touch Pitt. They're not that good of a team, but over maybe as BC is an over team. But again, I'm not interested in this game. Clemson, North Carolina. We got Clemson an under team with a 23. North Carolina an under team with a 23. North Carolina shows no signs of offense. Bill Belichick is just lost. The defense is okay. Clemson, their quarterback sucks. Belichick will have something designed for Klubnik. That's what he does. And they're laying 14 and 45. I can't bet Clemson to win anything by 14. The total of 45, probably an under because I don't know. Klubnik's terrible this year. Army and UAB. Army 7 and 57. Army's an E team with a terrible 31 defense. We're going to have fun taking Navy over the Army. And it's all because their quarterback stinks. Army's quarterback's not good. They don't play well because they can't run it down your throat. UAB, a good over team, 41 defense. The total is 57. But I don't trust Army's quarterback to do anything. I don't trust Army to win this game, but I can't play UAB with the 40 defense. So we're going to watch it. Wisconsin, Michigan. Wisconsin, an under team with 18 defense. Michigan, a B team with the 17 defense. The spread's 16-43. Michigan has no quarterback. They run and apparently somehow get touchdowns running for 70 yards. I've never seen anything like it. So Michigan will get their points. Wisconsin, I don't know if they can score on this defense. I'm scared to take Michigan minus 10. I can't take Wisconsin. And then do I go over or under, which you would think would be under 49. But we've already been there against Nebraska and lost as they played a 60-point game with Nebraska. Are you kidding me? So Michigan will find a way to run for some touchdowns. So it's not going to be pretty. UTSA Temple, two good over teams, actually. UTSA 6.5, 56. Probably doable over. UTSA, great quarterback. They score a lot. Temple, 26 defense, UTSA. So both teams should score a lot in this game. Western Michigan, UMass. Again, UMass, the Z team. Western's only 12. So all they got to do is win by a touchdown. It just seems so tempting. Western's an under team with a 24 defense. UMass is Z with the 40. Total in the game's 46. So I'm not fucking with the total. It's just, do I want to play Western in 6? And then if they don't cover, go, fuck, why did I bet Western? So I'll probably leave that alone. Arizona, 20-55. Oak State, still a Z team. They scored a little bit more points last week. Arizona, an A team off of a loss to Iowa State. They're laying 20. A 16 defense. They should hammer Oak State. The coach is gone. They're a Z team. But they did score some, so I don't know. Let's watch. Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, I don't care. Buffalo is 10-51. Florida International against Connecticut. Connecticut's 7.5. Florida International at 27 defense. Connecticut at 25. So I really don't care to partake. Oregon State, the other Z team, plays App State. Oregon State's 1.5, 54. I'm not betting a Z team. Boise, Notre Dame, both over teams. Notre Dame is 21-63. Both teams about a 28 defense. We've seen Notre Dame, Miami, high scoring. Texas A&M, high scoring. Purdue, high scoring. Last week, Arkansas, they put up a 56. So Notre Dame, I'm not worried about their quarterback, Carr. Would you rather have Carr or Arch Manning? What can I say there? So the total is 63. Boise definitely can score on him, and Notre Dame's going to light him up. So this looks like a high scoring one. Virginia, Louisville. This one I'm scratching my head over. Both teams are A. Virginia 23 defense, Louisville an 18. The spread's 7.5, 62. Am I missing something? Did Virginia not just beat Florida State? And there's 7.5 dogs to Louisville with Miller Moss, who I don't like. I don't fully understand this spread. I wouldn't take Louisville if you bet it for me. You got to be kidding. Syracuse, SMU 1658. Is Syracuse quarterback still out, and how long? If he's out, their backup sucks. So if he's out, we go to SMU minus the 10. If he's playing, we go over, but I would think he's out. Let's see if we got an injury on him. Well, it's probably not here yet. I guess we'll go to covers, although covers is disappointing. All right, let's see if they give us a Syracuse update. They date it, so you know when it was given. I love how they put USC in the U's instead of the S's. Because it's USC. No, it's Southern Cal, morons. All right, Syracuse. Quarterback's out with the Achilles, so he's not coming back. So we got Syracuse without the quarterback. So we got to like SMU here. And we can't play the over because SMU, how good's the backup? So when I bring in my stats, it was like 2-2 for a couple hundred yards, not as good as this Angeli was. He was a backup for Notre Dame. He was pretty good, actually. So you can't play over and you can't play Syracuse, leaves you SMU against the second string quarterback. Alabama, 10.5, 56 to Vandy. I don't understand this line. Vandy beat them last year, so they're confident. Oh, Alabama's going to kill them. Alabama just played Georgia. Okay, they're flat this week. Vandy just keeps putting up 50 points a game. You have no answer for Daggio because he can run good, he can pass good. Alabama 10.5 should be 7, maybe 4. Both have 17 defenses and a 56 total. I would go with Daggio all day and night. How can you not? Why would you not take Daggio here? You get 16.5. Alabama's not that. I mean, Georgia does not have the offense Vanderbilt did. It was 24-21. So they'll score a little bit, but they're not going to blow out Vanderbilt. Texas, Florida. Texas, a B team. Texas minus 7, 47. No quarterback. An 8 defense. Florida, an under. Langway stinks. 16 defense. There's only one way to play this, which is under. You've got to play it under. Texas, Florida. Florida went to LSU and scored 5 points. And Texas, 14-7 Ohio State. And they played a bunch of powder puffs. This is really their first game since the Ohio State game against anybody at all. I love the scheduling. Well, we'll play a high school team, and then we'll play Texas Tech, Texas High School, and we'll play the Matthew McConaughey team from that movie. It's bullshit, and now they come and they get Florida and they get Oklahoma soon. And Oklahoma, they're lucky because the quarterback broke his hand. So there's only one way to play this, which is under. James Madison and Georgia State. And I'm really interested in James Madison here. They're an A team, they're laying 1953. Georgia State's got a 48 defense, and they're a Z team. And James Madison's an A team. They're laying 19, but they got looks like a 15 defense. They're going to kill Georgia State, and you're laying 2 touchdowns. So is James Madison going to be awake for this game and try or not? Let's see. Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois, both are under teams. Miami of Ohio is a road favorite of 5 and 38's the total. I'd be tempted to take Northern Illinois as a home dog to Miami of Ohio. Jeez. Northwestern, 10.5, 39 over Lou Monroe. Lou Monroe's a Z team with the 28 defense. Northwestern's an under with the 19 defense. I don't want nothing to do with this. You don't bet the under team against the Z team, and they're not going to score enough to cover. Washington, Mary, Washington off of a loss, laying 5.5, 52.5. Washington with a 19 defense, Maryland a 10, which isn't real. Maryland a B, Washington an A. Washington off the loss, but has to travel from Washington to Maryland. It's a bunch of crap. Game should be played at Kansas City. So it's just ridiculous. Now, Washington will be pissed off the loss. Look for them to play and look for them, I would think, to win. They've got a much better team, but it's hard, this cross-country bullshit. Penn State does the other thing. Off of a loss, they go to UCLA. UCLA's a Z team with the 31 defense. Penn State's an A team with the 12 defense. Off of the loss, Penn State should win. UCLA's terrible, but you're laying 25 and you're going the other way cross-country. It just makes it harder. But both Penn State and Washington are motivated off of the loss. So I don't know it'll kill them too much. Oklahoma and Kent State. What is this game? Kent State's a Z with the 44 defense. Oklahoma an A with the 9. Quarterback's out with the hurt hand, broken hand, I guess. How is Oklahoma laying 45 with a backup quarterback? Yeah, no, thank you. Michigan State, Nebraska 10.5 and 50. Michigan State's an over team with the 29 defense. They played USC fairly well, traveling to USC, so it can be done, and you can play decently. Nebraska, an A team with a 14 defense, 10.5, 50 is the spread. Michigan State's probably a live dog here from the way they played at USC. They showed offense. Nebraska, I don't know where their defense is against Michigan. They let them 3 long runs. Like, I thought you had a defense, fellas. So I'd be on Michigan State before I'd be on Nebraska here, and I'm not on the under with Nebraska after the way they played Michigan. Here's a clever game. Coastal Carolina, a W with the 27 defense. Old D is an A team with a 17. I've got to research this a little bit more. I'm really liking Old D, laying 12 against a real bad Coastal Carolina team. And I got an A team at home, but I got to just research it a little bit more. But that's the kind of game that it's perfect. The home team's a good team. The road team sucks. They're a W with a 27 defense. I'm laying 18, so it's not too bad. They're at home. We'll see. Vegas, 3.5, 53 to Wyoming. Vegas is a pretty good team this year. Wyoming is an under team like every other year. Good defense, no offense. UNLV 3.5, 53. I have no idea. Texas Tech 11.5, 52. Houston. Now Houston, believe me, will play a whole different game than they did last week against fucking Oregon State. What the fuck was that? But here's Houston. It's a conference game. It's a must-win. Texas Tech, Morton, great quarterback, and they have a strong defense. If you ask Utah. Houston, we know, has a strong defense with Willie Fritz. It's an 11 defense against the 13. They're both A teams. What do you do here? Houston in 17, if you got balls to bet against Texas Tech. Or we can go under 56 based on Houston and Texas Tech's defense, or if we think they're bullshitting. See, I don't think Houston's got the offense to hang with Texas Tech, and I don't think Texas Tech's going to light it up here. Not against this Houston. You'll see the real Houston team and why I bet it last week. So I think possibly the under or possibly Utah and Houston in 17. Kansas UCF, I'm not playing this game. Kansas minus 4.5 again. What is this with Kansas and 4.5? They're both B teams, a 20 defense, UCF a 15. Kansas 4.5, 55. Maybe I go over. The only way I'm going to play this would be over with Kansas. If Daniels is throwing for 450 and 5 touchdowns, they could get over. As far as UCF, I don't even know who their quarterback is. They're nothing. So again, we've got to look at their schedule. Who have they played and who have they beaten? They're not. I don't know. Just like Cincinnati. I did not have enough information to make the bet last week, and I ain't going to make that mistake again. Colorado, TCU 13. Colorado at 22 defense, TCU at 21. TCU, we know, is explosive with Hoover. The total is 13.58. Colorado should get in the 20s. TCU probably gets into the 40s. You can either take TCU, lay the 7. You could go over 58 to 52 would be my selections here. Nowhere am I taking Colorado in 19. They got pretty blown away. Well, they played BYU, but it was at home, 24-21, so 45 there. This will be a little different with TCU, not BYU. TCU has an offense, has a real quarterback. Mississippi State A&M, I don't understand this spread. A&M 14 and 55. Mississippi State beat Arizona State, played Tennessee down to the wire in overtime. A&M, all right, beat Notre Dame at the end. All right, they beat Arkansas, I believe. Why are they 14-point favorites? Mississippi State is an 18 with the 17 defense, playing Arizona State, playing Mississippi, playing Tennessee, and A&M they gave up 40 points to Notre Dame. So I'm not clear on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi State wins. I do like A&M's quarterback. Maybe we go over, but Mississippi State doesn't really score that much and plays pretty good defense. So I'm kind of confused on this game. Minnesota at Ohio State. Ohio State, the A team, Minnesota B. Now we get a little better feel of Ohio State going to Washington and winning. They're real. Ohio State 24-44. Minnesota with the new quarterback and 16 defense. Ohio State with the 6. They shut down Washington. They will shut down Minnesota. The total of 44. There's only one way to play this game. Miami and Florida State, both A teams. Miami is 4.5, 54. They're an 11 defense. Florida State's a 19. Why is Miami favorite here? I don't understand it. Yeah, they came back and beat Notre Dame. All right, they beat South Florida. Big deal. Florida State showed you how good they are beating Alabama. They beat Alabama. Right? Did you forget? An 11 defense against the 19. I think Florida State's a very live dog in this game and possibly the under, but I'm not sure because Miami can score. I hate their coach. Cristobal is a terrible coach. Oh, we can take a knee and win the game? Oh, yeah, we remember that one against my Georgia Tech team. So I think this is a close game, and I'm getting a home dog. Thank you very much. Just like the Oregon-Penn State game, when it came down to it, I took Oregon getting 9 because I didn't see any advantage that Penn State had, and it was a very live dog situation. Oregon at 9? Who's going to be – Penn State's going to beat them by 9? So, again, making the bet before the game, and that's where you go. And so it was very easy to take Oregon at 9 last week, and it happened to work out. But here, it's very easy to take Florida State. It's very hard to take Miami as a road favorite. I'm not in love with Miami. I know the coach. Florida State, they look much better. Okay, they lost to Virginia. Virginia can light it up. I told you about Morris, their quarterback. He's great. So the fact they lost to that against Alabama, the quarterback couldn't really throw. It was his first game. Now he's getting a little better. Getting the win at Georgia was good. Somebody said on the radio that they think he's the best quarterback in the SEC, and I'm like, did you forget about Pavo? He's the best in the country. Don't fuck around. Stop making it harder than it is. Who's your number one pick? Well, we can have Arch Manning, who's 2 of 20 and 1 touchdown, or we can have Pavel gets 5 touchdowns a game. Who's the best quarterback? Yeah. Well, he's too small. Oh, yeah, he's really having a problem throwing touchdowns. So we got Florida State there, and that's really it. Duke 3 at Cal in the midnight game. Duke 3 and 55. Duke's an over team, not much defense. Cal, an under team with an 18 defense. And again, Duke's flying to California. Again, that is critical that you pay attention to that. Now, it's not 100%, but it's pretty close. USC goes to Illinois. Now you got Washington going to Maryland. Let's see what happens. Although California went to Boston College and actually won 28-24. So it's not like it's just be careful betting that. So that's it. Your free play is Iowa State getting 7.5. We saw many good plays along our voyage here. We've got to check our Old Dominion game just to see who the quarterbacks are, if they're any good. We know the defense. I got 17 defense against the 27 defense with Coastal. And we got to look at who they played. See, that's the key. If Coastal played Georgia and Alabama and they got a 27 defense, okay. If they played high school teams and got a 27 defense, that's a little different. That's where it's hidden from us. What does a 27 defense mean against whom? That's the key. If they're high school teams, it's nothing. If they're Alabama and Georgia, they got a good defense. We don't want to fuck with it. Texas Tech Houston game. We got Colorado TCU game, Minnesota Ohio State, Miami Florida State. So it's a pretty good board next week, and we will take our precious little time before we start booking it. Is there a lock? At this point, I don't know. Possibly. We will see. It could be Old D if I study it right, or James Madison if they're really, very strong in the Z team. Like Georgia State, I know is a terrible team. All right. That's college football week 6. So I'll get with you and Titus after this. Let's look at the pros. Now, I've added in my pro teaser trends. So what I do is after Tuesday, after Monday night, I go in and say, oh, they won as a home favorite. They won as a road dog. They won as this. They won if you bet against them. And I go through each team, and then the spreadsheet adds everything. So now I can see the total for the year. And then I have a spreadsheet that says take 24 and add 25 to it. And that's really the key. And then I go to 23, 24, 25, and that can only work. It can't work with Caleb because he's not been there in 23. So I mentally note who can I use it with? Oh, Mahomes. Yeah, he's been there a while, and Buffalo and Baltimore and Philadelphia. Yeah, I can use their trends, and that's why they're so good. They're consistent. Detroit, I can use. When you get to Chicago, Minnesota, no chance. The Rams, yes. Pittsburgh, how can I use it? Aaron Rodgers just got there. So I can only use Aaron Rodgers for this year. It's frustrating. But we're smart enough to understand we can't just use 2 years ago's trends and just pop it in and say, well, yeah, I know this is with Fields, and now it's Aaron Rodgers, and da-da-da-da-da. The Jets we can't use. Jacksonville, we got a new coach. Houston, we can use. So it's from Tennessee. No, it's brand new. You got Cam Ward. So there's certain teams you can't. And why is Cam Ward starting, and why is Dart starting? These are incredibly stupid coaches or GMs who's ever making the thing. Well, the crowd wants Dart, so let's put him out there. You're going to get your ass kicked. Somehow San Diego didn't wake up. But I guarantee you he's losing this week because all he wants to do is run. Let's take a look. Oh, I don't know if they're playing this week. Okay. So we got tomorrow night, we've got the Dodgers and the Niners. We got the Dodgers, the Rams 6.5, 46.5. Purdy against Stafford. The trend on the Rams is 35-6 over the last few years. They're a very good home team. The Niners with a lot of injuries. We assume Purdy. Maybe it is. Frisco with the 19 defense, the Rams with the 20, so it's pretty even. And the Rams are just loaded. Devontae Adams played. Pukanuka, you got running, you got defense. The better team is the Rams. The Niners have to travel. It's not a big travel. It's a couple hours down the coast to play the Rams. It's a Thursday night, which we hate because the teams aren't into a rhythm. They play every Sunday. Now it's you got, oh, let's throw a Thursday in there. Oh, let's fly to Brazil. Let's go to London. Let's go to they make no sense. They're really just for the betting because you don't get the real team. Minnesota went from Ireland to London, which is a couple hour flight, I think. So they're already there, and Cleveland now has to travel, which fucks them up. All right, so the Rams, decent play. At the end of the day, I think they get the win with Stafford over Purdy. Minnesota, Cleveland. Minnesota, again, favored 3.5, 36.5. Wentz against Flacco. Do you want to bet on Wentz? Do you want to lay 3.5 with Carson Wentz, who sucks? Cleveland with Flacco, or they might go to Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel's not ready. How come they're not going to Prime Jr.? I'm sure he would maybe get a first down or two in the game. Cleveland's a weak team, a 26 defense, and Minnesota with a very strong defense, a 20. Wentz, terrible. Flacco, not much better. 3.5. How can they be 3.5 over anybody? Cleveland showed you they got a really good defense. I couldn't bet Wentz, never. Houston, Baltimore, Houston 240.5. Stroud against Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush should be their quarterback, and Lamar should be their wide receiver. Baltimore is no longer an over. They're an under. They won't score, but they still have a 33 defense to worry about. Now, that's because they played Detroit and they played Buffalo, and then even KC lit them up last week. So it's understandable against those teams. Houston, an under team, 13 defense. So they're not going to score on Baltimore. And Baltimore with Cooper Rush and all these defensive injuries, who knows? I just think you bet Houston under to death. I mean, I think you just keep betting them under. They got no offense, and they're going to stop you. And Cooper Rush, yeah, he'll get some yards. He's not bad. He played at Dallas. He did win games at Dallas. I was surprised they got him. But, again, let's keep running Lamar. That makes sense. And then, he pulled his hamstring. Yeah, let's keep running him, though. See, the reason you don't run your quarterback is if he gets injured, you have nobody. If the running back gets injured, you have 3 or 4 good running backs. And the running back's supposed to run. So I can't wait for Jalen Hurts to get hurt doing his little push-tush. And then they'll all cry, and then you won't see that anymore. I don't know how he hasn't got hurt. So that's probably an under game. Miami, Carolina. Miami 1.5, 44. Tagliavua against Steve Young. What a terrible matchup. Miami is Z team with the 30 defense. Carolina an under team with the 24. And it's not like we have to worry about that they play Division II games. They just played the Jets, so that's probably as close to a high school game, and now they got Carolina. This is so fucked up where the good teams are playing each other and then the bad teams are playing each other. You really can't bet this game because you have no idea what you got. Miami's a Z team favorite. So I would look for Carolina as a home dog. I couldn't play Miami. 30 defense against Carolina's 24. Do I go over or under? I have no idea. See, this is the problem. They're so bad that you have no confidence who or what they are. Are they going to score a lot or not? Don't know. You don't know how the game's going to go because these teams are so bad. Denver, Philly 3.5, 43.5. Philly 17-3 as a home favorite. We can use that. Denver's not bad. Denver is now 20-2 in a teaser since Bo Nix has gotten there last year. And I can only go back 1 year with Bo Nix, but he's 20-2. Philly, it's hard to go against them. They're laying 3.5, 43. There were 22 defense. Denver with the 17 defense. Denver's got to travel to Philly. It's a very good matchup. Do we tease the dog? It's hard to really tease the dog unless you got Kansas City or Buffalo against Philadelphia. So you're a little bit scared to take Denver and 9.5, total 43.5. Maybe it's an under game because of Denver with a very strong defense, as does Philly with my Georgia guys. So maybe it's an under, but it's a very difficult. Again, Bo Nix is 20-2 in a teaser, so you're amped to take Denver, and Philly 17-3 is a home favorite, so you're amped to take Philly. So it's a very difficult game. Dallas goes to the JETSs. Dallas is 3-47.5. Which Dallas team shows up? The team against Chicago or the team against Green Bay? And the Giants. Are they going to score 40 or score 10? What the fuck's going on here? The Jets. Dallas 33 defense, the Jets 30. Dak against Fields. Now, Fields really doesn't do anything, but he does run for touchdowns. So he can't throw, so he just ends up running. Terrible quarterback. Good running back. Why don't they just make him a running back and end it already? You would think this would be over. You would think Dallas could light it up like they did against Green Bay and the Giants. I watched that Green Bay Dallas tape. They didn't pressure Dak at all. He had all day. They didn't even cover the whatchamacallit guy, Picard or whatever his name is, Pickens. They didn't even cover him. And that one touchdown, he was all alone. So the only receiver they got, you're not double teaming, and you're nowhere near him. And the defensive coordinator's still hired, not fired yet. Wow. So I don't know what Dallas team I'm getting. The Jets, they both have terrible defenses. You would think this should be over, but who the fuck knows which Dallas team we get. And this is the problem with football. It's so inconsistent. I get more consistency with Ohio State and Florida State and Miami than I do here. The Jets in New Orleans, a Z team, is favored by 2-41 over the Giants, who just beat San Diego. Dart against Rattler, no teaser trends. I mean, you got to take the Giants as a dog to a Z team, right? And Dart, isn't he the greatest thing since sliced bread? I mean, what the fuck's going on here? Total of 41. I have no idea what that means. Am I going over or under? Oakland and Indy, Indy and A team, I think. I don't buy it. Oakland and under. Geno Smith with all the interceptions. I think he leads the league. Indy is 7-48. Smith against Jones. I love that one. 7-48. Indy, good scoring team, 21 defense. Oakland, a bad scoring team with a 25. I think Indy wins the game. I think you've got this weak defense in Oakland and Indy -7. Now you got Brock Bowers and you got Gentry, so Oakland should score a total of 48. Maybe you go over 42. Hard to say. We don't know enough about Oakland and Indy to even really digest this. Tampa Bay, Seattle. Now here's a stat for you. Tampa Bay, 14-0 as a road dog the last 2 years. That's the end of the thinking, right? The Baker came on against Philly, made it close. He's playing really well. Why is Seattle a 4-point favorite? Tampa with the 24 defense, Seattle with the 17. Baker against Darnell, the total of 44. I would think this goes over 44. I think Tampa is a live dog getting 10 points from Seattle. Seattle ain't is not all that. Um, they don't have the defense for Baker, and I think he got his tackle back, and did he get the receiver back? Tennessee, Arizona. Tennessee is Z team. Arizona under Cam Ward's just terrible. Kyler Murray. Tennessee also with the 30 defense, Arizona in the 19. So just for that fact, I would take Arizona. Maybe I go under because Tennessee's going to get shut out again. Arizona seems to have a decent defense, a 19. So maybe you can go under. Maybe you can take Arizona. The last thing you do is take Tennessee. Washington, San Diego. Interesting game if Daniels is playing. San Diego is 348. San Diego with an 18 defense. Okay, will they be upset losing to the Giants? They should fire the coach if they lose this game. How do you lose to the Giants with Jackson Dart? Are you out of your fucking minds? Oh, let's throw some more interceptions and penalties. Yeah, that's the key to winning is throwing these interceptions and letting the other team get the lead. Unbelievable. San Diego, very good at home. What were they? San Diego is 18-3, and 11-1 is a road favorite last week. So now they're 18-4. I mean, they're very doable at home, but what the fuck? Washington, if it's Daniels, should give him a game, but you're scared of the San Diego defense. This is a tough game. You need to see more from Washington, and if Daniels is healthy. Without Daniels, Mariota ain't doing shit. San Diego, Herbert, you got to take his head out of his ass from last week. There's no excuse for losing that game. Detroit, Cincinnati, Detroit 10-50. Detroit's playing very good ball. They're 7-0 as a road favorite. Minus 10-50. Detroit's an 18 with the 22 defense. So the defense has come down to 22. Golf against Browning. Since he is Z team with Browning, a 30 defense. And no Joe Burrow. And it's all Detroit here. They just have a way of not doing what San Diego did by letting down. Now, it's not it's a half-hour plane ride. It's a 4-hour drive. They should drive it. Detroit laying 4. Does it really bother you? They'll win by 20, especially with Browning. He won't do shit. Golf, he's mediocre at best, but whatever. So I don't think you worry about that. Maybe you can get a 9, go 3. I saw it at 8.5 Sunday night. I was going to bet it then. By the time I saw it again, it was 10. Let's see where the line's at now. It's 10.5, 49.5. But if we went to the other side, it's probably a 10. All right. Doesn't matter. I think if you get them under a touchdown, the way they play, they're just running it down your throat. They play pretty good defense. Browning, I mean, they lost 28-3 to Denver. I don't think they have a chance. I mean, they're a Z team and with no quarterback. So all Detroit here. New England, Buffalo. Buffalo 7-49.5. Drake May against Josh Allen. It's not close. Buffalo at 23 defense, New England at 20, but they don't have offense. Drake May, he just runs, can't throw. Josh Allen, okay. Milano and Oliver have been out. We'll see if they come back. That makes a difference. Milano always makes a difference, but he's always hurt. So Buffalo 7. I would think Buffalo should win. This is the game we're looking for, a strong team playing a weak team. All these strongs against strongs and weaks against weaks. We also have it with Detroit, Cincinnati, where we have strong week. Here we have strong week. And our last game is Kansas City 3.5, 46.5. Mahomes against Lawrence. Play against home dog 7-0 Jacksonville. So when they're home dog, you bet against them and they lose. They don't play well as a home dog. You got a 19 defense KC and a 19 defense Jacksonville. KC's 3.5. They're starting to play well. I can't see Jacksonville lighting them up, and I can't see them stopping Mahomes now that he's rolling. So you get Mahomes in 2.5. It's a no-brainer. Is Jacksonville this good? Are they going to come in and beat Kansas City? There's no chance. They're not that good, and they're not going to handle Mahomes. Okay, you got him, but now he's starting to throw to his receivers. They're getting the time down. This is week 5. So he just showed you he beat Baltimore, and he should have beat Philly if Kelsey had his brain together. And I just don't think Jacksonville is the type of team that's going to beat KC. I don't care if it's Monday night or Friday afternoon. I just don't see that. So let's give a free pick. Let's give the free pick as Buffalo. And we need to check injuries, so let's do that. But I don't know if injuries are out yet. They don't come out till like Wednesday night. Injury updates for week 5. Jalen Daniels cleared to play. There you go. So the San Diego game, you do have Daniels. 49ers facing race against time, as all those guys have to play Thursday. So you're going to get them all injured because these guys shouldn't be playing are going to play because the game's Thursday night. Status of 49er quarterback Brock Purdy and other key players is up in the air for Thursday night's game because they just played Sunday and they're not ready. Jalen Daniels cleared to practice in full. Okay. Bucks head coach Todd Bowles says running back Bucky Irving day-to-day with ankle injury. We don't really care. They give like 49ers with no practice. We don't care. None of the 49ers are practicing yesterday. Doesn't mean anything. Tyreek Hill surgery went well. So let's look at the Miami game, realizing you don't have Tyreek Hill. There's still a 1.5 favorite over Carolina. And all it does is it's probably more of an under because you don't have Tyreek Hill. So where are you going to score? The Bills signed a punter. Who gives a fuck? Browns placed Cedric Tillman on IR, signed Malaki Corley. These are wide receivers that we've never heard of. Jaguars signed quarterback Carter Bradley, son of former head coach Gus Bradley. Oh, wow. They'll go to the Super Bowl now. Jets running back Braylon Allen expected to land on IR with sprained MCL. See, that's the problem with the Jets. None of their players care, and they'll all fake hamstring injuries, like Julio Jones did for 5 years. Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, both questionable for Thursday night with the Rams. So we're taking the Rams, of course. I would have taken them if they played or not. Joe Alt, San Diego's out. The wasted pick instead of getting Brock Bowers. He missed all last year, and now he's out again. But let's see. We want to check on who do we want to check? Buffalo, that's her. But I doubt they'll give us injury news. All right, view all injuries. So if we can trust this, Matt Milano is questionable with the pec. Larry Oglubluga, defensive tackles, reserve suspension, and Ed Oliver questionable with an ankle on 9/30. So that's pretty close. So that's all they're missing, which is normal. And New England, Jared Wilson, the center, is questionable. Yeah, so we're going with Buffalo. That's our free play. Baseball today, I would bet pretty heavy on Cleveland to beat Detroit. School pitched 107 pitches. I was impressed. They didn't pull him after 95. The monkey must have ran out of bananas. So he went 107. He survived, pitched 7 innings, and then it was 1-1. Cleveland had him. They got a single with 2 men on in the first or second inning, and they threw the guy out at home. So I don't know why he went home if it wasn't, unless it was bang play. And then Detroit got lucky and won in the 7th inning, 2-1. So we'll see. But if they could handle Schoolball, they can handle Casey Mize. He's terrible against Bibby. So take Cleveland today in that game. All right. So that's your baseball tip. Take Cleveland, beat Detroit. They're a choke. Detroit doesn't know how to win. They got lucky, but now the pressure's on Detroit to win to end the series. They'll never do it. Cleveland has shown you they were down 15 and they caught them, and then they won the division on Sunday. So in a big game like this against a weak Detroit team, they should beat them again. Detroit chokes. What else can you say? They had a 15.5 game lead in baseball, the easiest sport to keep the lead, and they just choked. They got lucky Houston didn't play, or they would have won the wild card, Houston, and Detroit would have missed all of it. But just because Scuba won, everybody's, Scuba won, Detroit will win, the next game. Why? Cleveland played Scuba very well, and why he's not in jail for hitting the guy and breaking his face, I don't know why. That's manslaughter. Scuba should be in prison for that. I would have sued him. It's like hockey, right? You want to call it part of the game, but what that guy did in hockey years ago, when he high sticked the guy in all his face, he got sued for it. And I would sue Scuba if I was the guy who got hit and, you fucked up my orbits and stuff. I'd be suing that guy for millions. No. That's not part of the game to hit me in the face. David, hello. So that's pros. Teaser trend, the Rams 35-6. Philadelphia 12-3 is a home favorite. Denver 20-2. That game probably is a teaser game. Tampa Bay 14-0 is a road dog. Don't fuck with that. Uh, Detroit, I believe, is 12-1 as a road favorite, and Buffalo, a small trend there, and then play against the home dog Jacksonville, 7-0. So you would play KC. So the biggest trend is Tampa Bay. And it's a hard week. I mean, you got Miami, Carolina. What do you do with these shit games? It's very hard to play them. What are you going to do with it? Dallas should play a high scoring game. They seem to play high scoring games, except for when they played the Bears. What the fuck was that? Tennessee, Arizona, Washington, and San Diego. Both tackles are out for San Diego, but who knows what Washington is. The Giants in New Orleans. And New Orleans is favored with Jackson Dart. What the fuck is that? Miami, Carolina. Who cares? Minnesota, Cleveland. Who cares? So we will see. Baltimore, a lot of injuries. So what should have been a normal Baltimore, oh, they've lost 2 in a row, is now Baltimore going to lose 3 in a row and 4 in a row. They're going to be 1-6 on their break. They won't even make the playoffs. Some guy was reading these easy games Baltimore has the second half of the season, and I'm like, not sure they're going to win. I'm not sure Mahomes or Lamar's out 2 weeks. Pulled a hamstring. And then he tries to run again. It pulls again. So you're going to really count on Lamar? So Cooper Rush is going to be your quarterback for a while. We'll see what happens there. All right. So that's football. Trying to make the right match and trying to set them in the teaser properly. I've been kind of putting a good team and then the other team's not winning for us. So I'm losing the teaser. Even though I had Oregon, I had Arizona. So I got to be more careful who I put Oregon with to win the teaser, not just win half of it. Let's see what gold and silver are doing. All right, gold shot back up to 38.70 and silver 47.32. So it's funny how it was 46, finally breaks 47 on its way to 50, on its way to 100. But people aren't smart enough to connect the dots. Why is it going up? Because of the demand. And it's very limited supply. Why is the demand going up? Because the dollar's not worth anything. How many people can follow that? Not too many, just us. So here we got gold, 38.70. So why did it go down at 38.95? Then I got the 38.88 about 8 o'clock. Why did it go down? And now it's jumped back up to 38. So why does it do that? Why does it drop? It's not people selling gold. This is the thing. Oh, there's no demand for gold. Oh, gold, it's overvalued. It's oversold. It's over this. It's over that. It's bullshit. This has nothing to do with physical gold, with the real gold price and the real silver price. These are fantasies. 38.70 is not anywhere near the real price of gold, as is 47.59. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold's going to say so. Yeah, Trump was bought. Tell us something we don't know. Trump and his dirty plan occupy Gaza, exchange aid for rare earth. So he's trying to get rare earth for these weapons so he can sell the weapons. So Trump's just trying to be a salesman here, and he realizes he needs rare earth to make the stuff, and he doesn't have it, and Gaza has it. Do we not have any rare earth in the U.S.? Really? Vegas can't be saved. Sure, it can. Just cut all the bullshit out, lower your prices, people will come back. People, the market likes Las Vegas, but if you're saying what they were saying yesterday was, well, we don't care, we're going to make the money in China. Well, you're not going to make the money in China. That's all bullshit. China doesn't like it. There is nothing else. I thought there was Middle East. There's nothing in the Middle East. So it's in China. Well, wait, you can't. China doesn't have the fees that the US has because they won't take it. So what you're just going to let it go bankrupt, Vegas, instead of lowering it? I don't know. Russia dominates. Globalists are collapsing. Russia waits to end it all. Well, end it all. What are they waiting for? Yeah. See, they keep saying the same thing. Alligators on a 15 show saying the same thing. This Douglas McGregor goes from show to show to show saying the same thing. So we're not learning anything. Trump warns 1.5 trillion credit market meltdown as major firms collapse. Well, we already know that. He doesn't have to warn us. What does he know? Yes, of course. Look at all these cars. Well, there was cars there, I promise.
Look what this German spray does to any car paint in 10 seconds. Watch this transformation. See how it instantly...
Lots in Texas are overflowing with seized cars.
So there's all these cars that they can't sell. So you increase supply of cars, the price goes down. You can't sell it because your price is too high. So do you want them to sit there or do you want to lower your price to sell them? Is there even a market to sell it? Are people running to buy cars now? I don't know about that. I'm not. I bought mine in 2018, so I didn't have to buy now. See, I don't like her. She's really clueless. Shrinking silver stocks. What does that mean? Stocks or is that inventory? The truth about, oh, you know something we don't? Russia dominates. Lavnas snubs the US media, refuses to answer in English. I love it. Trump was bought. We know that. Why BRICS mineral exchange threatens the West? Because they have the minerals. How stupid are you people? So here's this. Vegas hotels hiding the truth. Chinese travelers are furious. We don't really need to watch the video, but it's the point. They're not happy with the hidden fees either. So they make it sound like they're having record profits, which I don't believe. And they're doing, all this. Well, I don't believe they have record profits. And then Vegas is, there's nobody in Vegas. Well, they get a Raider game, they get people for a day, or they get a fight, they get people for a day. How about the rest of the month and the rest of the year? So you got 5, 6 events. How many boxing matches do you get? 3? All right, so you get people for 3. Big deal. I'm sure they're not gambling. If they are, they're just playing slot machines or something, which are rigged to not pay off, I assume. But nobody's going there to gamble. I don't know if you're going there to eat and pay these extra prices with all these little fees involved. That'll piss off anybody, right? You could piss off the Saudi Arabia prince would be upset about all these fees. The fall of Dubai. So Dubai's collapsing, which is kind of, you'd think that Dubai is the place. Let's watch this.
The indoor ski resort spans 22,000 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Venues like the Dubai Mall suffered major losses. Animals still needed care, systems still ran, and staff still required pay, despite the lack of revenue. In boom times, the model thrives. Downturns exposed Dubai to serious vulnerability. Enjoyed the video? Before we continue, don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet.
Fuck off.
It truly helps me out, and I promise to bring you even more awesome content.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Until 2015, Dubai lacked a conventional address system. Instead of street names and house numbers, mail relied on landmarks and descriptive directions. While it may seem quirky, this points to a larger issue with Dubai's rapid development. The city expanded so quickly that infrastructure couldn't keep pace. Buildings rose faster than streets could be properly named or mapped, making basic services like mail delivery and emergency response difficult. In response, the Makani system was introduced in 2015, assigning coordinate-based codes to every building. Though effective, it reflects a pattern where Dubai retrofits essential systems after development, rather than planning comprehensively from the start. The issue is compounded by demographics. About 85% of Dubai's residents are temporary expatriates. In a transient population unfamiliar with local landmarks, proper navigation systems are crucial. Makani functions well, but the need for it underscores Dubai's build first, fix later approach. This model works during times of growth and wealth, but creates vulnerabilities when multiple deferred problems arise. Few projects illustrate Dubai's ambition and vulnerabilities more than its artificial islands. The Palm Jumeirah, Palm Jebel Ali, Palm Deira, and the World Archipelago stand among the boldest engineering efforts ever, requiring over 100 million cubic meters of sand and rock to construct. The Palm Islands span more than 60 square kilometers, and the world comprises 300 islands over 55 square kilometers. While impressive, these developments expose serious concerns about Dubai's growth strategy. Environmentally, the damage has been severe. Island construction destroyed coral reefs and disrupted marine ecosystems. Altered water circulation has led to stagnation and decreased water quality. Financially, these islands depend on a narrow market of ultra-wealthy international buyers. Properties in the world range from $7 million to $2 billion, making them highly susceptible to global economic instability. During the 2008 financial crisis, many islands remained unsold or abandoned when
I mean, what's the point? If you're driving a $55,000 car and you paying over $100.
Many islands remained unsold or abandoned when investors failed to complete purchases. Maintenance costs are high. Preventing erosion, maintaining infrastructure, and managing environmental damage require continuous funding tied to ongoing sales. If demand falls, Dubai could be left with massive, unsustainable infrastructure. Most concerning, these projects reflect a willingness to make lasting environmental sacrifices for short-term economic gain. Once built, the damage cannot be undone. The global move away from fossil fuels poses an existential threat to Dubai that few openly address. As renewable energy and electric vehicles gain momentum, the wealth source that built and sustains much of Dubai's economy is under mounting pressure. International oil companies are shifting toward renewables, benefiting the environment but significantly cutting back on oil and gas investment. In recent months, the United Arab Emirates reportedly lost around 1 million barrels per day in potential production due to decreased investment in the sector. This decline ripples across the region. As oil revenues shrink, wealthy individuals and sovereign wealth funds, key investors and consumers in Dubai reduce spending. Luxury real estate slows, tourism from oil-rich nations dips, and financing for large construction projects becomes more difficult.
So as the economy goes bad, so does Dubai. So again, there's alligator, but he says the same thing, and he's not correct. So I think that's about it. You got your free pick. Take Buffalo and take whoever the hell I told you in college. I think there's a few locks. I'll have the free pick is Iowa State as a dog to Cincinnati and Buffalo as a favorite against New England. We'll see. Again, we're still learning the teams, which is critical. Who can we bet on? Can we bet on Miami against Carolina? Can we bet on Carolina? No, we can't bet on either. Can we bet on Indy? Can we bet on Jacksonville? We're not sure. Indy did go to Frisco and win, or Jacksonville, one of the two. I can't even tell who went there and won. I think Jacksonville won. Am I scared of Kansas City losing to Jacksonville? Never. They're not Kansas City now. And Kansas City's like 2-3, so Kansas City needs to win. Kansas City won't be content till they're in first place, so they will not fall down. So you have a lot of that going on. It's very much you're looking at that. And again, we're trying to learn, and you got a bunch of shit teams that are very difficult to actually pin. What are they? What Tennessee we know is terrible, but what's Carolina and what's Indy and Jacksonville and Houston we now know is an under. So this is why we do all the stats to see is this team over or under, and then we can maybe bet Houston under. But what do we do with the Jacksonville game? We got what? We got Jacksonville, KC. Do we go over? Do we go under? Who the fuck knows? The Giants in New Orleans. You got Dart in there. What is he doing in there? We don't know anything about him. He didn't do anything the first game. He ran for a touchdown. That's all he's trying to do is run because he can't throw. He can't read a defense. What are you going to do? Now he'll go in against Dart, the Giants. He'll go in against New Orleans, at New Orleans. You going to bet him as a dog? I would bet Russell Wilson in this situation. But no, we're going with Jackson Dart because we've got our heads so far up our asses, and the Giants wonder why they never win. You telling me Dart's ready to be an NFL quarterback? Oh, really? Oh, okay. Why don't I believe that? He wasn't ready in college to be a college quarterback. So I don't know. This is the problem we have with football right now. So many teams that we have no idea what they are, and especially in college, we think they're one thing, and then we find out, no, they're not. They're better, they're worse. They can score more, they can't score, and we don't know. And we don't know until they play enough games and we get enough data. This is the problem when you get when all these changes happen between the coaches and the quarterbacks and the NIL. How does it work? In the pros, it's a little easier. You got CJ Stroud, you got Lamar, you got these guys for 3-4 years, so you know who you got. Fields, we know he sucks, but he can run. That's all he can do. He's not a quarterback. I don't know what he is until he gets hurt. He got hurt a couple of weeks ago with a concussion. Now he's back. What do you do with him? You bet him over because he scores touchdowns because the defenses don't know how to blitz him. You got Caleb, who's terrible. Just blitz him. So you wonder what the defensive coordinators have up their ass. They're pretty pathetic. So again, when you bet, you must be able to figure out the outcome, which you can't do if you don't know what the team is. Well, what's this? The Giants, New Orleans. You're going to bet the Giants? You're going to bet New Orleans? They both stink. They both have weak defense. They both have terrible quarterbacks. How do you bet this game? It could go either way. I don't know how New Orleans is favored, but I guess because Jackson Dart's the quarterback, that shows you how good he is. So if Russell Wilson's the quarterback, the Giants would be 3-point favorites and easily win the game. So without him, you're going to lose with Dart. I don't know what they have against Russell Wilson, like he's supposed to come in and do it. These coaches and these general managers or owners just have no clue what they're doing. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. We got the ball game starting any minute, and we've got gold. We'll take our last look. So gold's up to 38.70, silver 47.57. This is going to 100, and this should hit 5,000 soon. And there's really no stopping it because there's no reason to stop it. It's not overpriced. It's not in a bubble. It's people buying things that were suppressed. So the real key is that this is worthless. So if this is worthless, I got to get out of the paper, and then I got to buy gold and silver with the paper. That's your only option. That's why it's going to keep running and running and running. There is no option. I don't want to be in dollars, so I'm never selling my gold for dollars. I might sell my gold to go on a vacation and get $3,800, and then buy a ticket and go to Hawaii, wherever, and use that money for that. That might be why I do it. Otherwise, there's no reason to get in. I don't want to exchange 10,000 in gold for $10,000, and then what? Watch the dollar go to zero. What's the point of that? So that's the thing. You're not looking to do that. All right, I think that's it. I need to go to the doctors and get some antibiotics in me. I'm real tired now, so I don't have the capacity to go. I can go 2 hours usually, and then I'm okay. I usually need a little rest, have a little bit of lunch, and that's where I'm at now. I need to grab something to eat, but I'm not that hungry, and I really want to fast, so I'm not quite sure what I'll do. But yeah, it's just this. I get it this time of year. I get this nasal infection or something like that, where it's bronchitis, nasal infection. It's probably the same thing, and I need antibiotics, and then but it won't leave without it. Even though I take my Tylenol, I'm going to go to the pool and soak in the hot tub, and I'll do that, but it doesn't really get rid of it. Which is like gout. Why does it take gout a week to get out of your system? It just blows me away. So it's nice that my feet aren't hurting today, or my knees, or my back, or anything. So we'll see. But it's always this time of year. Who knows? If you go out to eat, you can easily get it from the waitress or some shit like that. So that's what's going on. So have a good day. Bet on Cleveland over Detroit in the playoffs. You got your games tomorrow. We got the Rams. And let me look at Titus's stuff. All right. So have a good day. And gold and silver are just, you have nothing to worry about. Too much demand. Nobody's going to profit take to get back into monopoly money. If they do, they're idiots. That's all I can say. They're idiots if they sell their gold for dollars. Fucking moron. They have no clue what they're doing. That sounds like Peter Schiff. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. All right. Take care, everybody.